The United States warned against travel to China on Monday, and Canada issued a more narrow travel warning as the death toll from the spreading coronavirus passed 100, with tens of millions stranded during the biggest holiday of the year and global markets rattled. Global stocks fell, oil prices hit three-month lows, and China's yuan dipped to its weakest level in 2020 as investors fretted about damage to the world's second biggest economy from travel bans and the Lunar New Year holiday, which China extended in a bid to keep people at home. China said on Tuesday that 106 people had died from a new coronavirus that is spreading across the country, up from the previous toll of 81. The number of total confirmed cases in China rose to 4,515 as of January 27, the National Health Commission said in a statement, up from 2,835 reported a day earlier. China on Tuesday postponed the start of the spring semester for schools and universities across the country over concerns about a deadly virus outbreak. Students are currently on holiday for the Lunar New Year, and the Education Ministry did not provide a date for teaching to resume. U.S. President Donald Trump offered China whatever help it needed on Monday, while the U.S. State Department said Americans should reconsider visiting all of China due to the new virus. Canada, which has 2 confirmed cases of the virus and is investigating 19 more potential cases, warned its citizens to avoid travel to China's Hubei province, at the heart of the outbreak. Authorities in that Chinese province are taking increasing flack from the public over their initial response to the virus. Chinese Premier Li Keqiang visited the city of Wuhan, epicenter of the outbreak, to encourage medical workers and promise reinforcements. Visiting Wuhan in blue protective suit and mask, Li praised medics, said 2,500 more workers would join them in the next 2 days, and visited the site of a new hospital to be built in days. The most senior leader to visit Wuhan since the outbreak, Li was shown on state TV leading medical workers in chants of Wuhan Jiao, an exhortation to keep their strength up. Mounting anger. On China's heavily censored social media, officials have faced mounting anger over the virus, which is thought to have originated from a market where wildlife was sold illegally. Some criticized the governor of Hubei province, of which Wuhan is the capital, after he corrected himself twice during a news conference over the number of face masks being produced. If he can mess up the data multiple times, no wonder the disease has spread so severely, said one user of the Weibo social media platform. In rare public self-criticism, Wuhan Mayor Zhou Xianwang said the city's management of the crisis was not good enough and indicated he was willing to resign. The central Chinese city of 11 million people is in virtual lockdown, and much of Hubei, home to nearly 60 million people, is under travel curbs. Elsewhere in China, people from the region faced questioning about their movements. Hubei people are getting discriminated against, a Wuhan resident complained on Weibo. Cases linked to people who traveled from Wuhan have been confirmed in a dozen countries, from Japan to the United States, where authorities said they had 110 people under investigation in 26 states. Sri Lanka was the latest to confirm a case. Investors are worried about the impact on travel, tourism and broader economic activity. The consensus is that in the short term, economic output will be hit as authorities limit travel and extend the week-long New Year holiday, when millions traditionally travel by rail, road and plane, by 3 days to limit spread of the virus. Asian and European shares tumbled, with Japan's Nikkei average sliding 2%, its biggest one-day fall in 5 months. Demand spiked for safe haven assets such as the Japanese yen and treasury notes. European stocks fell more than 2%. The US S&P 500 closed down nearly 1.6%. China is the biggest driver of global growth, so this couldn't have started in a worse place, said Alec Young, FTSE Russell's managing director of global markets research. During the 2002–2003 outbreak of severe acute respiratory syndrome (SARS), which originated in China and killed nearly 800 people globally, air passenger demand in Asia plunged 45%. The travel industry is more reliant on Chinese travelers now. Chinese ruled Hong Kong, which has had 8 cases, banned entry to people who had visited Hubei recently. Some European tour operators cancelled trips to China, while governments around the world worked on repatriating nationals. Officially known as 2019 nCoV, the newly identified coronavirus can cause pneumonia, but it is still too early to know just how dangerous it is and how easily it spreads. What we know about this virus is that transmission occurs through human contact, but we are speaking of close contact, i.e. less than a meter, said Jérôme Solomon, a senior official with France's health ministry. Crossing someone infected in the street poses no threat. The risk is low when you spend a little time near that person and becomes higher when you spend a lot of time near that person.